I'm not a nutritionist. I background is anesthesia, and I've fallen into functional medicine and infectious disease. I want to talk about the glycemic index.
The clinical trial, the experiment was really just a handful of people. It was a lab test originally to see how these people, these few people, would respond to with his or her individual metabolic state at that time to these foods. Because just recently a study came out, it's a Stanford group, so I'm just looking at it, it's in the Nature, so I can give you the link to
Yeah,
it.
please do
Uh,
put it in the article so people can look at it and read it. Yeah.
yeah, so this is a fantastic article, and this is a person at Stanford who did what I did. He did with his metabolic health what I did with migraine. So it's an N equal one kind of an experiment, which got published because this is so sensational. And
Yeah.
so he shows that how you respond to glucose will have four different, at least four. We now already know there are four different kind of person you can be that can change how you respond to the very same one slice of white wheat bread, right? So you can have the first type of personality would be is that your diabetes or metabolic instability will be presented as muscle insulin resistance. And so your muscle insulin resistance, your muscle is your biggest sink for glucose. So if you have an insulin resistance, then you can't sink all the glucose in there. And then you're going to, those are the people who need more insulin to put away the excess glucose that they have.
Yeah.
The second type is a beta cell dysfunction, which is the one that leads to type 1 diabetes, right?
Right.
The third one was an impaired incretin response, and these are the GIP and GLP-1. And so if your gut doesn't have enough GLP-1 receptors or does have non-functional receptors and also in your brain, then you will absorb the glucose a lot more, because what GLP-1s do is they sort of kick the glucose goodbye and allow you to have a better metabolic health as a result. And the fourth one is what I see most often people have, which is a liver glucose deregulation. So this is the problem where the glucagon and glycogen are not regulated properly. And these are all modulated by insulin. And I see people who may not even eat for, I don't know, like you and I, fasting for 16 to 18 hours, and suddenly we get a glycogen dump. So we end up with a blood glucose of 140. That was a huge glycogen dump for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
That's what this is when you have the liver dysregulation to the point that you're not controlling how much glycogen you're releasing continuously. So this is the most frequent one. But these are four different responses. And so if you, in the study, they were giving people, I believe it was a banana and some cookie or something. I forget now exactly what it was. And so they mapped how people responded in terms of their glucose response. And they also measured their insulin, and everything was totally controlled for. And what they discovered is that you eating the same cookie and banana may react very strongly to the cookie, but not at all to the banana. And I may react very strongly to the banana, but not the cookie. So we have individual responses, even though we're eating the same amount in the same direction, the same way, right? And so the glycemic index says nothing about this, that you may be different than I am. And then other stuff that is of importance, for example, what time of the day are you eating that
Yeah.
banana or a cookie? What did you eat before? Like if you have a big meal on your table and you start it with the banana and then you eat your meal, you're going to have a completely different response to that banana than if you ate your meal first and then ate the banana at the end.
Yes.
And so does it really have any meaning to look at then the glycemic index if it's not telling us what in general people do? Because it isn't. It's giving you a lab number. It's almost like a range. But it's just a one number. But I would like to see it maybe that, for example, for white bread, the glycemic index maybe from 45 to 150. It's not stops at 100 because that is considered the maximum. But there could be a range based on who you are, but then it has no longer any meaning.